And welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Steelelum.
Cody, it was a very interesting weekend in the transfer portal, but we're going to get away from that real quick. First, we got to talk about the softball team, man. Dude, softball has been on a roll. I think they've won 12 out of the last 16 games, correct?
12 out of 17.
You're right, because they lost.
Yeah, they lost on us. Yeah, so they lost on what was it, Saturday in the like kind of in the final game of the series against Kansas, but they had already won the series up to that point. So yeah, up to that loss, they were 12-4. So I mean, I said it. I didn't have really much expectations for softball, but I mean, the way they're going, yeah, this is already a historical year for the team. Most conference wins in a single season for a softball team since I believe the 90s, or this might be an all-time one. But I mean, yeah, just pretty impressive what they've done. The big hitters for this team that I'm looking at, a couple names that are like significant contributors would be Sidney Malott and Lauren Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, like I believe they swept the Big 12 awards. It was either this week, like this previous week, or the week before. But those two have been contributing. Angelina Allen continues to be a solid. Like she's probably like the main name that I think of when it comes to this softball squad. And then Tatum Johnson has made like her presence known. She's had a few great plays, and Jesse Clemens as well. So we're getting some good production also from Carly Ford. So some of our freshmen are stepping up, and obviously you have the senior leadership of Angelina Allen. So it's a great recipe for what we have here for this year. And I mean, staying in the top like four or so in the Big 12 for softball, and something that I didn't expect to happen. It's great. So it's great to see the softball team making their own history. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic um, accomplishment by the ladies. So I'm very proud of them. We're gonna take a look at the schedule, um, folks. I know probably most of you are at work, but if you are a student, make sure you make it to both games today. Hold on one second. One second. Bad TV on you. But today there is a double header. Boom and boom. Yeah, double header. Geez, sorry. Uh, there's a double header today, and if you get there in 18 minutes, make sure you wear a pink. It's the pink out promotion today at the ballpark. So make sure you go out and cheer on your Cyclone softball team as they take on the Jackrabbits in that doubleheader. Uh,
hmm
we'd love to see you there. Um, so yeah,
yep. And then and then the following day there will be an in-state game against Northern Iowa Panthers, and on Friday through Sunday it'll be another Big 12 series as they travel to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Utes. So a pretty loaded kind of week for the team, but I mean, they continue to make that push towards the Big 12 tournament. And I mean, who knows what they could do there? They could do some damage there. And maybe now they could challenge for the Big 12 title.
yeah, anything can happen. So we wish nothing but luck to the Cyclone softball team.
hmm
All right, Cody. Let's talk about these um, key portal arrivals and departures. I wanted to bring up to you. Let's talk about. We speculated um, on our Thursday's show that Austin Barrett could possibly be a pickup. Well, Cody, I was out I was out door dashing right before night one of WrestleMania, and then that's solid news. I was like, oh hey, oh snap! Austin Barrett is now officially a Cyclone. What are your thoughts?
Yep. I think I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, You're going to bolster up the offensive line. I mean, you're obviously bringing the Barrett bros. Obviously, with Dylan Barrett already being at Iowa State, so you already have that chemistry from them, and you're bringing in a lineman who was a part of that historic Indiana team, who's
Right.
joining Iowa State. So the line has been something, especially with the departure of Jared Hufford. I think it's great to see that and Jalen Travis, obviously, on the offensive line. It's nice that we're picking up another lineman as we look to shift. Sounds like from the football camp that they're shifting possibly Brendan Black to center to
Yeah.
compete alongside Jim Boniface. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you want to really bolster up the trenches because that's going to be the one thing I think could take Iowa State higher than they were last year, given all the injuries. But I think, yeah, just a great pickup on the line, and he'll look to be a part of protecting Rocco Beck.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm really, really excited about how far the line can go. I think it's going to be the key. One of the keys to this season is having really good line play. I think, well, really on both sides. So this will be interesting to see how they come along. Um, man, and then there's another thing I wanted to add before we go back to the other portal additions. Man, Iowa State in high school recruiting owns the state of Nebraska, dude. Because I believe we've gotten like seven out of their top 10 players from
Mhm.
that state, and like the fact that like John Haycock has like a chokehold on that region. Derek Hooker does, and then like Matt Campbell has the respect of all the high school coaches there. Like it's insane how much like the city of Omaha, Nebraska has how good it's been to Iowa State.
Yeah, and kind of like on the state of Nebraska thing, and well, looking at Jet Tomala, who's referred to quarterback at Omaha, Nebraska. There's something that like I was listening to, and they talked about like the having consistency in the quarterback room and stability. You remember what was it? Who was it? Arno to Brock Purdy. So
Yeah,
in that period, you had a quarterback switch every six games, and this is coming from Williams and Bloom. And I listened to them yesterday. They talked about it, and that was crazy to just really put into perspective. That there was a time period where Iowa State would switch quarterbacks, or starting quarterbacks, halfway through the season, and that was just a pattern for the longest for a while. And ever since you land on Brock Purdy, you've had a consistent starter in some way,
well,
shape, or form.
yeah. I mean that was the thing when I was in school there. Like every time it was just really just inconsistent QB play, and the thing was is that I feel like with those Paul Roach teams, I think that's sort of like stopped them from that made them inconsistent because you had inconsistent quarterback play because you were just jumping, looking for hoping for somebody to give you a spark, and that ended up suffering because of it because I mean I know you can't really think about it, but we really had some good receivers during that era. Quentin Bundridge is a name that really stands out to me. He was really really good, and I think that if we had like solid quarterback play, and Sam Richardson was good. It's just that Sam Richardson was always hurt. Like he threw a really really nice ball, but like man, I just think that during those times when we were in school, and if we had good quarterback play, who knows?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's just great to see that. I mean, we've got 2 years left of Rocco Beck, and we have like obviously we've seen looks like Connor Moberly and Jeff Tomala will be competing here in the next couple years. I mean, if Rocco Beck stays his 2 years, that'd be great. If not, then the QB room will be fine. I think you would obviously have Connor Moberly kind of like the presumed like next man up in the event that Rocco does go to the draft after this coming season. So it's just having that stability in the QB room is key to success for a program like Iowa State. And I think having like these local, like these like not necessarily higher rated kids, not these 4 or 5 stars. You have 3 stars that are willing to stay at like all like 3, 4 years or whatever. And that's been what's really pushed us into status as a competitive football team. And this is where I kind of like saw the discourse over the weekend because don't know how it happened, but somehow Iowa State and Nebraska managed to get in some recruiting beef.
Nebraska is one of those programs that think they should be better than what they actually are, and they're living in the glory days of them thinking that it's still the '90s and that people want to go to Nebraska, but they don't. Like you're not in the you're not even like I think we were talking about this in the space the other day. Nebraska thinks that Iowa State should be bad, and because they were really really bad in the '90s and they used to beat up on them all the time. Oh, it's little old Iowa State. Well, little old Iowa State has been better than you for about a decade now, and
Hmm.
now freely comes into your state and takes your high school talent, and then you want to try and minimize our efforts and say that, oh yeah, these Nebraska guys really aren't that good anyway. I'm like, well, aren't they from your state? Like they obviously got to be good somehow. And I know you try to recruit nationally, but like I feel like at some point, like you got to, and I know like what Matt Rule said. Matt Rule is basically saying that like he wants to be up there with Ohio State. Well,
Hmm.
to be honest, if you want to compete with Ohio State, you need to worry about out recruiting Iowa State first. Like
Yeah,
you need to stop worrying about what Ohio State's doing and actually try to, you know, get better with the talent that you have in your own state. At least
yeah.
that's how I see it.
And I think and here's the thing: Matt Rule is going to speak his mind. There's no doubt he's going to get
Hmm.
defensive. Like that's just how Matt Rule is, and you kind of want like that charisma. The problem is with right now with Matt Rule, he's like he does his on the field success has not necessarily matched his word. I mean, even back in his days at Temple and Baylor, I believe Matt Rule is what 2-25 against top 25 opponents.
Yeah, it's putrid.
So if he wants to like talk about like being like with the Ohio States of the world, then you got to start like actually like putting like the advanced analytics and all of like the analysis or whatever, and that's got to actually translate to on the field. Because if it doesn't, then you're gonna have your leash is gonna get much shorter. And and if Nebraska like I get it, like their whole thing is like national champions or bust, but I mean you just have the high expectations. Because like that's what it is. And I think these expectations for Nebraska, because like I mean, they were the heralded team of the '90s, and no doubt, but it's not the '90s anymore. I think that the expectations, I think for a lot of fans, they still have like the national championship of bus expectation, and that wears on not just like the fans, but also wears on the players and the coaches because yes, I think coaches they do try to limit what their players see on social media, but they see it. Like the
Well,
players, they do
yeah,
see it. I mean, our best case example was our basketball, the men's basketball team last year. Like there were like a lot of us had a expectation of Final Four, and you have to throw in like I don't care what anybody says. Um, you have to throw injuries are a factor as to why we didn't like ultimately reach that goal. But I think it's just the fact that you had such high expectations when we didn't meet them. You saw the discourse. You just saw like how crazy our fans, like some of our fans were, and that just shows like what happens when you put all your A's onto like that expectation.
yeah. I
It,
mean, I mean, it happened during football season too. I mean, but like a lot of people just gotta take into the things that, hey, I mean, part of having those magical seasons is absolute luck.
yeah,
The NCAA tournament in itself is a crapshoot. So
yeah.
even
I,
like no matter how much you prepare, things can still happen and you can still get upset.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's just the NCAA. Like imagine trying to win, was it four games in the NCAA tournament in a row? You're going to be worn out, and certain teams are built for that. Others aren't. I mean, I certainly thought we were, but once the injuries started hitting, and you saw how impactful they were, I shifted my expectations. Just like as long as they can do okay. Like I said it too. I would have loved to be in the Final Four, but when I saw the injuries and I saw it happen in real time, I had to like kind of shift my expectations just because it's like okay, maybe we weren't necessarily a Final Four team, but as long as we get to the second weekend, I think it would be still be a successful season. Obviously, that didn't happen, but to still hold on to the idea that what we saw was a like top two team in the country, the number two ranked team in the country. You still held that expectation, still held the team to be that way, even with all the injuries. I think I it's getting to the like can't necessarily like you got to shift your expectations like
Right.
as certain things happen. You can't just like parade on them, yada yada yada. And I think that's just like for not just your sanity, but like just like for the team sanity as a whole. Because certain teams they can crumble under those expectations. I mean, we saw it with our football team in 2021. The guys weren't
Right.
prepared. Now I think realistically, like I'm just gonna pitch it early, with the way like our team is built, I can see us like still being in like the top 15, top 10 of college basketball, and with football, they're top like 20, top 15. So there's no question about it, but it ultimately comes down to what they do on the field and on the court.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you can be prepared as you can, but at that point, you just gotta hope that your preparation takes you far. That that's the great analysis by you right there, Cody. I wanted to talk about and then now we're going back to key portal arrivals. Well, not portal arrivals, but this is a recruiting get, a big recruiting get. We go up into the Twin Cities and we go get Christian Wiggins from Wayzata. Wayzata is one of the big schools in the suburbs of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I really,
Hmm.
really like this guy.
Yeah, he did get offers from Wisconsin, Creighton, Iowa, Northern Iowa, and I think there was a few other schools in there, but he did get some pretty like, and I'm pretty sure Wisconsin would have probably offered a bigger bag. And I mean, with Creighton, I'm not too sure because I believe McDermott actually has left Creighton.
Yeah, McDermott stepped down. He retired, I believe.
Yeah, so who knows what Creighton's going to be looking like now without McDermott.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, because Pop Isaac's left, so Creighton's going to have a new look. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be up to where they usually are, or if they're going to have to go through. They're going to be like a program in transition, like Villanova is right now.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking here. Yeah, I mean, just I think with the and this kind of goes back to like how like kind of like what ties into what Matt Rule's comments were as well. It's like they try to like they used to be like the team that would recruit local kids. Like they did all like they recruit all like the preferred walk-ons and things like that, and
Yeah.
that's what gave them their success. Now they're I think they've kind of stepped away from that a bit with the way they've seen recruiting. They're trying to get like the big sexy names from like Texas, Southern California. You're trying to get it from those like markets, but if you aren't keeping your guys local, like if you aren't keeping the local kids, then where can you build that foundation in the event, say like those flashy players from those other states want to leave for a like a bigger bag or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I like the philosophy of our coaching staff of going 6 hours each direction, or a radius of 6 hours of each direction.
Yeah, you keep.
Because there's good talent. They
Hmm.
can get people felt like they're recruiting hard the Chicagoland area, and there's Chicagoland is an underrated area for football talent, especially in all these suburban teams.
Hmm.
I know myself playing like in high school. A lot of these schools, powerhouses, and then there's you got Iowa, you got Missouri. We're getting into Kansas City now, and Kansas City has really good football talent. Um,
Hmm.
and when then in state, and now we're getting Omaha right now. So, I mean, I think in this era, especially with football rosters getting cut down from 120 to 105, I think a lot of teams are going to be a lot more cognizant on what they spend in the portal, and then more than ever, a lot of these developmental programs are going to be the ones that I think are going to succeed in this new era of football.
Yeah, for sure. So and then that also kind of ties in like basketball as well. I mean, you see a lot of recruits that TJ has, obviously. Milan coming from Wisconsin, like they've continued that Wisconsin to Iowa State pipeline. The
Hmm.
Minnesota to Iowa State, like the state of Minnesota to Iowa State. I mean, what Rob Jones and Gabe Kalser all came from the state of Minnesota. You
I
even had
mean,
Caleb.
so did Nate Heisey. He's from Minnesota too. He's from Lake
Hmm.
City.
Yeah, and then the Kansas area, you had Caleb Grill when he was here, and obviously Caleb Grill had that connection with TJ at UNLV as well. And then Keyshawn Gilbert, coming from St. Louis, was there at UNLV, so
Mm-hmm.
have that as well. So, and I think just continuing, and then you have, what was it, Jamarian Bateman? He's also from the Midwest area.
Jermaine Bateman's from Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah. And then was it a player we got from Oshkosh, I believe, Oshkosh
Xavier
North?
Mitchell. He had a relationship with what's his name uh Tyrese.
Halliburton?
Yeah,
Yeah, Halliburton. Mhm.
I believe that's the same high school that he went to. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
um, I mean, yeah, like building those relationships, already having an existing relationship is going to be key. Um, just like so, there's just going to be interesting to see how this NIL era does and how this ruling goes for these settlements for these universities. Um,
yeah. Yep.
and of course, we had a departure this morning. I believe confirmed by Cyclone Fanatic. They
Mhm.
or no, it wasn't Cyclone Fanatic. I have a tweet. Let me see if I can find it. Um,
Yeah. I remember who was confirmed by first, but I mean, I actually have Jack Sadowski's tweet itself. So like
oh,
he
okay.
put about half an hour ago. So this is on his Twitter. He said here, I want to take a moment to thank Iowa State for an unimaginable experience. Being a Cyclone has changed and developed me as a player, a student, most importantly as a person. After much thought and consideration, I decided to enter the portal with 2 years eligibility plus a redshirt year. This has not been an easy decision. I was always carry a piece of Iowa State with me. Thank you, Cyclone Nation. So Sadowski, he started 17 games over the last 2 years, and he was part of the linebacker room. I mean, last year that was stacked, but unfortunately got hit with the injury bug, and I believe Sadowski was out at some point as well with injury.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the guys that are returning. You have Caleb Bacon coming back. You have Carson Willett coming back, who I mean, he was a guy who was supposed to start last year, but
Yeah.
he was out in spring practice.
Yep.
You also
Kale
have
Brazina.
Caleb Brzina. You have Zach Levitt, who's coming back from injury. Like, so you have like a very very um, a good linebacker room that's full of depth. So he probably would have been lost in the shuffle um,
Hmm.
in that linebacker room. So he wants to play. I mean, if you think about a lot of our departures, it's not really because of NIL. It's really because they wanted more playing time. And I don't really blame them for. I don't blame them for leaving for more money either. Um, but from the Believe in Iowa State podcast crew, Jack, thank you for being a Cyclone and as a fellow Chicago-lander. Good luck to wherever you go.
Yep. Uh, I think I think we're planning on days. So like the portal's pretty quiet because yeah, I mean the portal closes in about a few days here, so I'm expecting it to quiet down a bit. I'm expecting not too much movement. But I wonder if like I think we probably take a look at maybe like some of the transfer portal like around the country.
Yeah.
Like because I haven't I need to like because I'm seeing if wait a minute. Oh, hold on.
What
Um,
happened?
okay, this is on. So this is from Friday. Uh, Federico of Texas Tech has entered the transfer portal.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was like right
Hmm.
after we got off the show.
Yeah. I was looking here. Let's see what else. UCLA quarterbacks about 2 hours ago plans to enter the transfer portal. Yep, you got it there. I'm guessing this is off the heels of Nico Iamaleava committing to UCLA.
Yeah. And he transferred in from App State, which is now where JJ Cole is now.
Hmm.
But yeah, so this is gonna be interesting for them since he can. Yeah, Malava came in, and now there's speculation in the previous tweet that he could possibly end up at Tennessee. So that could be a possible pickup for Tennessee. so they can stop raiding the freaking Big 12. But I mean, you go down here, it looks like Tennessee, Tulane, and Wake Forest are in competitions for his services, and that's what Pete Nikos is reporting. So it's going to be interesting to see which one he would chooses. But it looks like Tennessee is probably going to be the front runner.
Yeah, I would like to think that they are the front runner, but they also fumbled the bag when it came to getting freaking Josh Hoover. That was crazy how they somehow didn't like. I always talk about this. Like I think we talked about this in the space as well. How Tennessee has like just fumbled some of these like transfer like guys in the portal.
Yeah,
Like I would think that Tennessee would have the money to do so. Like you would think they would be a program people want to go to, but I think once people saw what happened with the Nico situation, they realized, uh, maybe you should like reconsider.
yeah. I think that's what, and I think that's what happened, man. I think they got scared off by that, and they're like, well, I don't know if I want to deal with that. And we're looking down. This was reported an hour ago for basketball. Denzel Aberdeen on the national championship Florida team. He is committing to Kentucky.
Hmm. Oh boy, in conference transfers. Mixed feelings about those. I have
Yeah,
mixed feelings.
and we reported this about Stephen Jelly leaving last Thursday. It looks like he is going to set out to visit Syracuse today. So Stephen Wiltfong reported this about 3 hours ago, but that will be an interesting pick for Fran Brown, the Franimal, as the Saliver likes to call him. But that's going to be interesting. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Um, oh,
Um,
sorry, one thing I wanted to add. So we were speculating about Tanner Koziol. Tanner Koziol ended up committing to Houston.
hmm.
So that is a good pickup for Willie Fritz and the Cougs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with he's going to play down there with Connor Wigman as his quarterback. So that should be interesting. That's a very interesting pickup for them.
Let's see here. Take a yeah. Man, yeah. I'm just let's see. Okay, nothing too crazy. Wait, hold on. PJ. Okay, looking at something from Friday as well. PJ Hackerty is asking for $4 million. This is from Jeff Goodman. So he's asking for $4 million and to be like point guard number one. Do you think Memphis would be willing to take that, given what PJ Hackerty did for Memphis this past season? Do you think that's worth it?
I feel like they have to, man. I mean, especially with was it isn't Tyrese graduating this year?
I believe Tyrese Hunter. Yeah, he's out of eligibility.
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta find you gotta find the guard. So I feel like they got to pony up that 4 million, and I think
Yeah,
with what because I believe aren't they backed but being backed by FedEx now?
I believe so.
Yeah, so they gotta have. I feel like they probably gotta have the cash on hand
Hmm.
to pay him. So I feel like
Yeah.
they do what they gotta do to stay competitive.
Hmm.
And I
Look,
know
I'm
this
seeing this
was
here right now. Sorry, but Rylan Griffin, who entered the portal as a rookie for Kansas, he's set to visit Kentucky tomorrow.
oh interesting. Yeah, Kentucky is pulling out their bag to see if they can get back up to the top of the SEC. And
Hmm.
then these are really good moves by Georgia. I know we're on their page right now, Cody. But Josh McCray, who entered the transfer portal, who had a pretty solid year for Illinois. It looks like he is heading to Georgia along with Josh Horton and Army linebacker Elo Madozi. So, I mean, Georgia getting three good players out of the transfer portal.
Yep. I think this will continue for Georgia to maybe like get like. I mean, obviously they got stumped at the hands of Notre Dame in the college football playoff, and they did win the SEC championship. So I'm wondering if that's Kirby Smart wanting to Kirby Smart definitely reloading the roster and to make sure that Georgia is still considered like the top dog in the SEC.
Mm.
Hey, think.
Ooh, and look at this for tennis on the Tennessee basketball front. Nate Ament, number three overall recruit, he has committed to Tennessee, and he chose them over Arkansas, Louisville, Kentucky, and Duke. So
Mm-hmm.
very, very nice get for Rick Barnes
Yeah.
and for Tennessee to be on top of the SEC for years to come.
Yeah. And then, well, speaking of Duke, I think I learned earlier today, Cooper Flag has entered the NBA draft, so he's off to the draft.
Yeah, I figured that. Like the reports of him saying that he might come back, I'm like,
Nah.
even if he plays for a crappy team, I still like. There's no way you can pass up that money.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he's not passing up being potentially the number one overall pick for.
Ooh, and then if you guys are not familiar with the whole Jaden Rashada stuff, Jaden Rashada, um, originally he started off at Arizona State, then he was promised a contract with Florida, and that whole stuff, all those fell through. And he ended up transferring to Georgia, and it didn't work there. And now he's going to be going to North Carolina. So hopefully this time around it will work out, and maybe he'll be a player for Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably see him maybe like if he is like the land North Carolina, we might be able to see him week one against TCU.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see, and yeah, and that's really it. Really on the everything on the transfer portal side.
Hmm.
Um, like there's a lot. Well, obviously, this is going to be something that we're going to be looking up on every show, or at least on Thursday too, because that'll still be within the window of sharing of people being able to transfer out in and out. Obviously, with that and with everything in baseball and stuff, you know what? Has it gotten better for your Braves?
It was a glorious weekend for both of us actually, because yeah, there was a common denominator for our fandoms this weekend. The Twins.
They went, yeah, I know. Like we're getting beat up, but we both won, man. And you know how else you can win by betting with my bookie.
Yep. Oh, dude. We were talking about this. My bookie. I mean, we show referred to this on Thursday when with WrestleMania, which we'll get to later. There were certain prop bets that I'm for sure did hit. Like, if you knew wrestling, let's see. One of the examples. I gotta look at. I don't remember what the original odds were, but you had bet Jey Uso. Makes sense. You won. I guess heavy favorite Drew McIntyre made sense. I
Mm-hmm.
believe I don't. I wonder if like I don't. Io Sky I think might have been the underrated one, but she got it. And then if you bet Dominic, was Dominic Mysterio the favorite to win the Intercontinental title?
I believe so. I think it was yeah. I think it was mostly guaranteed my friend to win. Um,
Yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, I'm betting some, and then somebody put like a parlay together for WrestleMania, and they certainly made a lot of money.
Yeah, you probably made out well. And
Yep.
hopefully you signed up with us and used the promo code MM50 and mentioned Believe in Iowa State. And hopefully you won money. But if
Yep.
not, and then in the future, that's what you got to do. You just got to go into my bookie, register online, mention the Believe in Iowa State podcast. BLEAV is how you spell believe, and type in the promo code MM50. So thank you for sponsoring this show, my bookie. So
Yep.
as we end the show, Cody, I gotta get your thoughts about night two and then WrestleMania 41 as a whole.
Ooh, night two. It started out actually. I actually like. I think night two, like the card as a whole. I think it was a bit like. I think there was more like meat to it, like the as a whole. I mean, you started out with a great triple threat match between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. That was a
That match was
fun.
better than what I thought, dude.
Me too. And Io Sky retains the Women's World Championship. And then I actually broke. I think that was like. I think that's the first win for a Japanese-born wrestler in like what 20 some years, I believe. Like there was like an
Yeah.
0-13 like streak for Japanese wrestlers WrestleMania. But shout out to Io continuing to still be the Women's World Champion. And then the Sin City Street fight, Drew McIntyre taking care of Damian Priest. I saw the tweet that he put out during the match. I watched it. I watched the match live, and I actually he actually did the thing that he did. What was it? Last year when he tweeted like during his match against Seth Rollins, and he was like bored at work. He did it again. This time with a selfie. Meanwhile, he's beating the shit out of Damian Priest.
Dude, that Claymore kick to the dude, that chair shot with the insane.
Mm-hmm. That was nuts. I mean, and then you follow that up with a pretty fun and chaotic fatal four-way match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Carlito just took the spear. He died. That was crazy. That spear on the announce table was nuts. And then the sequence with um, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Braun Breaker. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace, went for the pin, only for Dominic to hit a frog splash. And Dominic is the new Intercontinental Champion. So, and I think he actually got a lot of cheers. Like the people were really like behind Dominic Mysterio.
Well, I think because I mean, like obviously they don't like hate him as a person. It's just like he's a great heel.
Yeah,
He actually earned it. Because usually like when you see like wrestlers kids, they feel like they already get like a natural push from like their dad or whatever. But like
yeah,
he's actually been working hard. I really
yeah.
like the work he's been doing.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where the character arc of Dominic Mysterio goes because now he's getting a lot more cheers. He's getting like babyface reception, and I thought he would just be a lifelong career hero. But I wonder if this like new character of his, like the people really love him, and I wonder if it's gonna be a way for him to become babyface now. Because I'm thinking maybe something like there might be fragmentations of the Judgment Day, because of how over Dominic Mysterio is.
Yeah, I could see it. There's a lot of the stuff. Some of the answers we're gonna get tonight on Raw. So
Hmm.
very excited to tune into that. So with that being said, Cody, we are going to
Whoa,
end.
there's a lot more. There's a lot more to WrestleMania. Hold on, we are not done.
We're not done yet. Whoa,
No,
whoa, we are
no, no,
not
no.
done yet.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. We're going through night two as a whole. I want to talk about night one as well. I mean, Randy Orton getting his moment. Joe Hendry showing up
I
at Wrestle.
believe in Joe Hendry.
That was surprising, but that was so fun. Like, I'm so glad Randy Orton got his moment because he was originally supposed to face Kevin Owens before the
Oh
neck
yeah.
injury. Yeah, so Randy Orton had to like he basically pulled an open challenge. Joe Hendry shows up, and well, it kind of went how I expected. I didn't expect that match to go long. I mean, Randy Orton convincingly won, but it was a great moment for Joe Hendry to make it WrestleMania. So that's great. Let's see. Logan Paul defeated AJ Styles by pinfall. Karrion Cross played a bit of a role there because AJ didn't want to like use the brass knuckles, so there should be some. And Logan Paul actually like got a win, so I'll say. But I really didn't care for this match. Or actually, the women's tag team match was actually like somewhat cared for because Becky Lynch is back.
Right.
So, and then the main event: John Cena defeats Cody Rhodes and is now the 17-time world champion. He broke Ric Flair's record. But man, oh man, the instant reactions to this match has people like split. Like there's a split.
I think it's because of the build of the story, and the way that there was like no in match interference was sort of lackluster, a lackluster ending. I think that's why a lot of people, because they said, well, The Rock wasn't involved in the storyline and stuff. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I get people's like complaints.
Yeah, and I mean there was discourse people saying, "Oh, this match finish was is fitting for the story because John Cena had like laid out in front of you that he was going to give like the fans nothing." But I think like there might have been like I think they tried to do that
Hmm.
and they didn't it just wasn't executed well. So I think this could have been
Right.
executed in a better manner. I think rather than um, maybe Travis Scott going out. Maybe you could have put in Seth Rollins because, yeah, Seth was Cody's Shield, but with the way Seth his what happened at night one, I really thought they could have maybe tied that in. And then yeah, speaking of night one, Jey Uso is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Took down Gunther via submission. I mean, it was there. It made sense for Jey Uso to win it. Yep, we yeeted all weekend. The New Day defeat the War Raiders to win the World Tag Team Championship. I didn't really care for this.
Me neither.
Jade Cargill getting the win over Naomi. So pretty good spot for both of those ladies. Actually, they put on a pretty good match. Like
They did. That was a
even
really good match.
Jacob Fatu is the new United States champion. He takes down LA Knight. There was no interference with this one. And man, I love Jacob Fatu.
Jacob, yeah, it was time for him to have a title put on him. It was a good run by LA Knight, but I'm
Yep.
ready for the reign of Jacob Fatu.
hmm El Grande Americano defeated Ray Phoenix. Oh man, I think they're gonna play up this, given that WWE did acquire AAA. So I wonder. I think this is probably a good reason for El Grande Americano to get the win. So I wonder if they're gonna continue this story until like the Worlds Collide event, which should be happening in a couple months in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be an interesting cross promotion.
hmm
That's gonna be something to look out for.
Yep. Tiffany Stratton retains the WWE Women's Championship over Charlotte Flair. Kind of was scared to see how this one would go, but yeah, this match was uh, 2 tons of ass.
Yeah, yes, it definitely was. I'm like, whatever happens, please do not let Charlotte win.
Yeah. And then the triple threat match between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns.
Dude,
The double swerve. That's the
oh,
big thing. But before that, I mean, we got to
oh
talk about
my
everything that went.
gosh!
Everything. I mean, Seth Rollins' entrance was crazy. Went from like what I thought was a trash bag to like a Messiah fit, which was fitting considering he is the Monday Night Messiah. He went by that sub point. Roman Reigns walking out with the Concord 11 wrestling boots, and then CM Punk that promo package with the kill switch engage
Mm-hmm.
S tier, and then the live performance by Living Color. It's
Elite.
it's yes, but man, that match was fun. And then yeah, Paul Heyman is now with Seth Rollins.
I'm wondering. Yeah. See, this is why I got to watch Raw tonight because now I'm like, so are they all aligning with The Rock? Because that's what I think is gonna happen. Is that's
Yeah.
gonna be like a stable, and then yeah,
hmm
him, all them together. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the motives, I mean, they I guess both Cena and Rollins do share a common motive with the way like WWE's gone and how like they want to see WWE in their vision or something like that. So yeah, but I am very excited for Monday Night Raw.
All right. And with that, we will end today's show. Thank you guys for staying in here with us the whole time, even with our nerdy wrestling thoughts. But thank you guys, as always, for tuning in to the Believe in Our State podcast. A few things before we go. Um, we are a top 15 sports podcast in the state of Iowa, nominated by FeedSpot. So thank you, FeedSpot, for nominating us in this list. Um, you can find Cody on Twitter at Matt Campbell Impersonator. He feels a lot better about his Braves. So congratulations, Cody.
Yay.
Yay! Um, you can find me on Twitter at SciTagGuy. I mean, a promising thing about the White Sox is that they were at 5 wins a week earlier than they were a year ago. So that's progress, I guess. Yay.
Hey, maybe it'll be a slightly longer time before they get to 100 losses.
Maybe maybe it might take till like July. Who knows? Who knows?
4th of July. Oh God, wait.
But yeah, and then make sure to follow us on social media. We have five forms of social media. How do you spell believe? BLEAV. Once again, BLEAV. We can be found on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So for Tyler Carter,
And for Cody Van Sealam,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
Let's go State.